Hi guys, I'm here. It's been a little while for doing a video because I needed a break. I said that in my last video, didn't I? And I have to say thank you for your lovely, warm-hearted, kind comments of, appreciation and support, and that's really what I needed at that moment in time. And I'm really happy that to know that you care and that you're here and that you're listening, and that this channel is of benefit to people, because that's the reason it's here. It's of benefit to me and it's of benefit to other people. Now I've been feeling like doing a video, and then at the same time, and I've tried several times, I sit down and then that really heavy wave of, I don't really know what to call it, to be honest. It's just like it's a general feeling I've had anyway, actually. Hopelessness, despair. Hold on, men. Right, hopelessness, despair. Don't bother. Lie low. Don't go out. Don't talk to anybody. Don't look at anybody. Stop breathing and die, motherfucker. I don't know, what the fuck, right? Okay. So I guess it's going to be a bit rambly and a bit ranty. Because mostly, I try and do videos whereby I offer some of my experiential wisdom and whatnot. But I'm not in the mood for that today. And I'm in the middle of making more discoveries whilst I do my inner work. This is part of the course, but I am not as yet ready to really talk about that, because that's like taking a cake out of the oven before it's cooked, as it were. So I'm not in the mood for that, but I have had thoughts about this hell realm experience, and it is a fucking hell realm. It is more hellish than it's ever been fucking before, and it's triggering the fucking hell out of me every fucking day, which I'm not going to complain about at the end of the day, because I know that is what I call the healing covenant. It's the tower in the tarot. You'll find with any souled people, I'm not talking about the new age bliss junkies that you get on YouTube talking about, the true people, fucking true soul beings worth their fucking souls. People who are alive, who have the life force, who have integrity, find that true awakening generally starts with catastrophicness, if that's even a fucking word, right? It does. Shit goes fucking wrong, and boom, it becomes an impetus. Something inside of them ignites and goes, yeah, what the fuck, waking up to the fact that the government doesn't like you, or that, whatever, I don't fucking know, the external, the conspiracy theories. There's so many of them. Whatever. I remember waking up myself, right, and prolifically watching all kinds of videos by David Icke, and there used to be this YouTube channel called the Deuterenoch. I don't think it exists anymore. It got lost in the purge, but it used to have a shitload of really interesting stuff on there, and I used to watch everything with very little discernment. I was literally going through a shitload of stuff, because you do, and you're on a high at that point, and you want to go out there and tell the world to wake up. You don't realize that the vast majority of people surrounding you are fucking dead fucking zombies. They are literally soulless, holographic, whatever they are, and it's pointless telling them anything, because why would you tell a table the truth, or a fork, right? It's not like they're gonna wake up, is it? But you go from that to realizing that if you swim in water, you're going to get wet. That you begin to work out through catastrophicness, shit happens, that there is a direct correlation between you having had this experience up to that point, and that your emotions, your mind, your body, your consciousness, everything is fucking broken. And that's when it starts to get unpleasant, right? You no longer want to go out there telling people the truth. No, you start to actively hate people. You don't want to tell them the truth. You just want to kick the shit out of them, you know. You want to grab them and shove their fucking head, their meaty, dead-eyed fucking heads, right, in all the frozen goods that they have in a fucking shopping basket, you know, and all the cheap Budweiser beer, and they're screaming fucking snotty-nosed garbagey brats, you know. That's all you want to do at that point, because you're going through shit, and you realise that you're surrounded by people who are just, you just look, I mean, I went through that, I had that phase as well, right, and every time I had to do the weekly fucking shop, I would be there looking at these people, and I'd be there looking what was in the trolley, and I'd be judge, hate, and all that. So it has to be said, most of those people were clearly of a lowest common denominator bandwidth, yeah, and they were eating garbage food because that is what people of that on that level do. It's the shit life syndrome, poverty, scarcity, ignorance. They go to public schools. It is called public school here in Britain, and they're really badly educated. They're indoctrinated. They're not educated. They are mentally reinforced with their slave status. You're the lowest of the low. It's your job to be fucking ignorant and to automatically, systematically put up your defenses when any kind of information tries to penetrate you that might elevate your consciousness out of that mind prison. Anything, you know, but it has to be said that this sort of same thing happens to the people at the pinnacle. Well, not the pinnacle, I suppose, but the sort of the ones that are closer to the pinnacle, you know, like your doctors, your lawyers, your you know, your barristers, your fucking whatever, because they're also programmed and they're also indoctrinated, but they're indoctrinated that they are better than the lowest common denominators. I remember seeing a doctor years ago, and he was going on about, oh, these fucking poor people, you know, and they eat loads of garbage food, and you know, they're all fucking benefits and the scum of the earth, but you know, they can always afford a big fucking car, can't they? They can always afford a fucking television. And I'm like, well, mate, you have a nice big Volvo, because I knew the guy, and that was his car, and it was a brand new fucking Volvo, and I bet you he lives in a nice big house, and he has a nice big flat screen television, so it's all right for you to have it, and those are just the accoutrements of your success. But if a poor person happens to have it, then they're the scum of the earth and blah blah blah, and it's like, what the fuck? But of course it's the great divide and conquer, isn't it? Everything is compartmentalized. People, there are people, when I was in Morocco traveling in the desert and whatnot, I mean, I saw grinding poverty. People didn't have enough to eat. There was water poverty, like, you know, it hadn't rained forever, and they were scared shitless that it wasn't going to rain again because the wells were low and it was shit. And ignorance was incredible, and they were so inbred because there were no people around to intermarry with, and ignorance, no understanding of it. It was appalling. It was appalling, you know. And people like that will not live well. There was a part of the desert that I drove through, and it had these little spiky trees. that ones would have had little leaves on them, but they'd all died. And it was the weirdest thing ever, and I wish I'd taken a photo of it, but it looked like I was on another plane for a minute, because I looked at it and I'm thinking, what the fuck is that? Because there is these little spiky plants with strips of yellow and green and red and white, and then I realised that those strips were plastic bags. For some reason, a shitload of plastic bags had ended up there, and they'd been shredded, and they were stuck on these little thorny, whatever they were, right, in the wind. It's like when I got off the boat in Tangier, and the first thing I saw was a massive tidal wave of garbage, right, coming off a cliff and going down onto the beach. We are, without any doubt, living in a concentration camp, which is where every fucking nuance is contrived. It's contrived. And I know I normally talk about consciousness. I believe consciousness creates reality. I believe that we're having this experience by choice, which is very hard to believe at this juncture, I know, and I'm not saying you should believe it. Work it out for yourself. What do you think? Whatever, it's up to you. It's what I believe, and it's purging out all this black sludge that makes your consciousness create, well, in part, the dark side of duality, because there are two consciousnesses within you. It's a long story, but I don't want to go there today, really. I just want to talk about the external, because that's what I feel like doing. Because it is a fucking concentration camp. It is a hellhole. It's evil. And it's all fucking contrived in every imaginable way. See, you have the rich. They live longer, they can afford better food, such as it is. Not that they always have a better diet, actually, but just by the sheer fact that there is less stress, because they have money. So, because in this country, for example, I mean, there's a lot of people on benefits, a lot. There's a lot of people that had a certain procedure done, that are very, very ill, can't afford to work, are now on benefits, right? So they might have had mortgages, but they've lost their home due to the situation, right? So they're now living in rented accommodation. There's shitloads of people living in social housing. If you don't pay your rent, they're going to come, they're going to kick you out. When you're on benefits in this country, you are considered by the vast majority of people as the lowest of the low. They did this program on Channel 4, it was called Benefit Street, where they had these really unlikable, horrible, foul-mouthed, overweight people that were just, I mean, they were paragons of the lowest common denominator, paragons, literally. I mean, they were the living embodiment of it all in a nutshell there. And it was all there in order to inform these nice middle-class people, or upper middle-class people, that see, there is your enemy. These are the people you should be blaming. It's all their fault. Scapegoating, you know what I mean? Because as long as people are given somebody, you could say something, but that doesn't really work. It needs to actually be, a certain denomination somewhere. It's either the brown people, or it's the black people, or it's the white people, or it's the man, or it's the women, or it's the gay people, or it's the transgender people. It's the rich, it's the poor, it's the middle class. It's always somebody, a human group that becomes the enemy, that you then can focus all your hate and your dislike and your judgment, and you can project all your inner shit and all your inner garbage onto them as well, So then people do this all the time, and it's that dopamine click effect, because I used to do it before I was aware, before I did my inner work, and I became acutely aware of the game that was being played and that was being, so it used to make me feel better. And it actually happened the other day. It was interesting because I was picking some blackberries on a path, and it's like a cycle path as well, and this guy came up toward me. Now, I don't like a lot of cyclists, it has to be said, because most of them are NPCs, especially the St. Luke's cyclists, because they all wear the same get-up and they do it to raise money for St. Luke's, which is cancer research, which is fucking, so I call them disease demons, because that's what they are, because St. Luke's is a hospice where people die slow, lingering, horrifying, agonizing deaths, right? From cancer, which cancer has been put into us. Cancer is not a natural, not a natural phenomenon. All disease has been given to us. Most diseases you'll find have a patent, you see. So I'll tell you anything you need to know. So we're literally being used and abused in every imaginable way. They make us sick. They give us diseases. They then come out with these so-called medications. It's absolute appalling. It's create the pathology, put it into them, however they do that in so many fucking different ways, and then give them the medicine, which inevitably makes them even sicker and fucks them up even more and keeps their consciousness trapped forever in self-hate, because people hate themselves. People fucking hate themselves. The poor hate themselves far more obviously, far more kind of like it comes out, it's right there on the surface. There's far more, say, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, alcoholism. People eat crap food. It's going to affect their cognitive functions. It's going to make them feel like shit. It's going to stress them out. ADHD. It is bad. It's bad. It's bad. They all suffer from garbage life syndrome, and they take it out on each other. So there's more divorce, and there's more all kinds of negative fucking shit. And apparently, when you study, is it the neocortex or the brain of a 4 to 5 year old child, you can tell whether they come from a well-to-do background or a poor background, because the stress induced by merit of living as a poor person, having poor parents, and it becomes energetic. It is energetic because everything is energetic. There is an underlying and an unacknowledged drone of fear, survival, fight or flight, nervous system stuff. People exist in fear all the fucking time. How are we going to survive? How are we going to survive? It is a kind of like, are they going to come for me today? Am I going to get another letter? Because the benefit agency in this country is called the DWP, and they're fucking evil as fuck, and they persecute people, and they make them go for unnecessary, cruel, sadistic assessments. I mean, and knowing full well that these people are very unwell. And these people live in fear. It's like one of my neighbors is in that situation, and she is always living in fear. She's always afraid. She has 2 kids. They eat shit food. They're not healthy, man. She can't function. She can't function at all. It's very, very bad. She had a bad childhood, and people are fucking broken. I see it. And these are the people that the well-off love to judge. They project all their garbage onto these people. We are given the scapegoating protocol in society, because it keeps us nicely stuck. Because when you realize that other people, salt people, are not really the problem, whether they're rich, whether they're poor, whether they're black or white or straight or gay, straight or gay, whether they're women, whether they're men, whether they're non-binary, whatever, whether they're conservative or whether they're Democrats or whether they're liberals, whether they're up or whether they're down or whether they're this way or whether they're that way, they are not the fucking problem. And to be honest, even the NPCs are not the problem, because they're just tools of mundane reality hell realm reinforcement. They mingle with the souled population. They are all around us every day. We mark them as soul travelers by the complete lack of warmth, complete lack of empathy, their tendency to be total fucking users. And you're going to meet NPCs in every social denomination, of every colour and every sex and every this and every that. You're going to meet them everywhere. They don't feel any emotions. They don't have any thoughts. They are dead. They are holographic tools that the Matrix uses to keep you all in check. So they reinforce all these negative mindsets, negative behaviours, toxic behavioral trends are reinforced by the mundane reality reinforcement NPCs, because that's what they're there for. They are weapons. They really just are. And even your normies, people that are not awake but are sold, can be so easily be weaponized, right? But yeah, to get back to the dopamine click, that is really what it is. Because when you stop blaming other people, and when you actually get to a point, even through inner work, whereby you start to take it less and less and less serious and become more and more and more objective to what this is, you realize that in terms of the experience created by consciousness, there is a story, a narrative, and they are doing this to us. Now, I don't want to reinforce victimhood, because it won't help us. It won't help us in any way whatsoever. Let me just, but it's inevitable that you face that you have been horrendously, grotesquely, sadistically victimized. You've been targeted, you've been persecuted, you've been vilely abused, mentally, emotionally, physically, energetically. You have been told over and over again that you're worthless and that you're guilty and that you're sinful and that you're powerless, and it's amazing to me that we keep being told how powerless we are and how worthless we are and how guilty we are. But if you're so powerless, guilt by merit of, you must have done something really, really fucking bad to merit being made to suffer this dreadful fucking grinding misery every goddamn day, right? But at the same time, I tell you, you're a powerless piece of shit. So if I'm so powerless, how the fuck did I manage to commit crimes that warrant me being abused like this? Because it must have been massive. It must have been fucking cosmically evil, right? You think about it, really. So, and just when you use that logic, you realise that we've all been fucking had. At which point you realise that, yeah, okay, it is time to at least start taking things less personal, because taking it personal is not the way. They want you to do that as well. They want you to feel, and I know that I came across perhaps in my last video feeling a bit self-pity-ish, pity, whatever, and I did. We have a right to feel that, to access that within us, to open up to everything that lies within us. Self-hate, self-pity, hate, rage, vengeance, judgment. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, I was talking, wasn't I, about the cyclists, and then I kind of got off track. So I was there picking blackberries, and that cyclist and the St. Luke, and he was one of these people. He wasn't a St. Luke disease demon cyclist, he was just a cyclist, right? But I looked at him, and immediately in my head it was like, oh, he's thinking, what a stupid piece of shit you are, picking these blackberries that clearly nobody wants because there's so many of them. People aren't picking them. They'd rather go to Sainsbury's and pay £3 for a little plastic box with blackberries in that are grown on some fucking farm and sprayed with fuck knows what, instead of getting off their asses, getting a box, going out and picking them for free, right? But in my head, which is what the Black Hand does, these thoughts are not our own, guys. Always fucking remember that. It puts in your mind that this guy is thinking all of this. He's a fucking asshole. And for a minute there, I went along with that, and I was like, yeah, you fucking beauty, you this, you that, you know. It clicked in, I went along with it, and I noticed, I thought, wow, it was like a little bit of an unburden, like a very short duration, a tiny bit of a bit of a vomit of my own inner shit, which I was busy projecting through the Black Hand, getting me to project it onto this guy, because that is what he's thinking. Because it was like, whoa, okay, so the dopamine click and shoot, like, oh yeah. And I was like, what the actual fuck? But it was a really good experience, because it really showed me something very clearly. It was like, wow, I don't know that guy from Adam at all. And actually, from the way he was dressed and whatnot, yeah, he was wearing this bike helmet, because they love to mock us, you know, and they get you to wear these fucking ridiculous clothes and put these bike helmets on and make you look like a fucking, like you're wearing a giant walnut shell on your fucking head. And honestly, if you're gonna get hit by a truck, you're gonna get hit by a truck, you're gonna fucking die. It's not gonna make any difference. You're just gonna lie there bleeding to death, looking really stupid. But hey, he seemed to me to be actually an alright guy in hindsight. You know, he certainly wasn't flash, and he just had this bike and he was just there doing his thing. And it was fuck all to do with me. But it was a Black Hand, which is what the Matrix is. They're thinking that about you because you're on benefits and you're worthless and you're shit, right? Or they think this about you because you're well off, and they all fucking hate you because you know you're better than them. They all fucking hate you because you're black and black people are scum. They all hate you because you are fat, or because you're you're blonde and all blonde women are stupid. They all hate you because you're a redhead and redheads are ugly, right? They all hate you because you're, I don't know, you're missing a finger on your little hand, or because you're white and you're male, and everybody fucking hates you because the conspiracy theorists say that there is an attack on white males, and so they all hate you. They all hate you. So better start wearing your fucking trousers halfway down your ass and pretend you're black. Walk like you've just had a stroke, you know, like these black men tend to sort of sometimes wear a certain gait. What was that? Devil in a Blue Dress, was it? The Devil in a Blue Dress. I quite, because I like to have a thing for Denzel Washington, very handsome. But I like that film, and then they have a certain way of walking, and it's like, I don't have an issue with that. Yes, a bit contrived, but hey, if that makes you happy, that's fine. But you get these guys, they're white, and they wear their fucking trousers halfway down their fucking arse, so you can see their ass crack. Very unattractive. And they want to pretend they're black, because they feel worthless, and it's like, yeah, but if I'm black, you know, but you're white, mate, you're very white, look at it, come on, no way. Anyway, it's fine, but yeah, a lot of us do that, you know. We adopt facades, we adopt layers to add to our, well, no, not to add, but rather to pretend we're this or we're that, because to be with what we actually are makes us feel like shit, because it's like, well, you're so uninteresting, you're dull, you're uninterested, you're broke, you're boring, you're old, you're just nothing, you're shit, you're nothing, you know, you're worthless and you're powerless, but you did something really, really bad, even though you're powerless. So they're thinking this about you, and they're thinking that about you. Go with that. Dopamine click. Whew. But here's the thing. Whether they're NPCs, whether they're normies, whether there are people on the ever-increasing awakening spectrum, And that's another thing, you get really annoyed. You get annoyed because these so-called normies that are waking up now, I mean, they're very annoying. They're very annoying because they believe everything and they're looking into everything, and they're so undiscerning. And you are there having done, I don't know, like a decade worth of work, inner and outer. You've done it all and you're just there and you get it because you have your spirit eyes, and it's like, oh fuck me, how dumb you all are. But then you've got to stop and say, oh, where was I 10 years ago? And you realise that you were there doing exactly the same thing. They love us judging each other, making blanket statements and blanket judgments. They're thinking this about me, they're thinking that about me. Well, no, you're thinking that about yourself. Me being there, picking those blackberries, and that guy oncoming, and that black hand in me saying, oh, this guy thinks you're a stupid arsehole for doing this, which I'm sure he didn't think that at all. Absolutely not. Me, really, it's just a black hand saying, look, you're just a worthless piece of shit, and you're here fucking picking blackberries. What a stupid fucking thing to do. Why don't you just go to Sainsbury's and pay £2.80 for glyphosate sprayed blackberries like every fucking other motherfucker, right? You know, consume that glyphosate. Let me control your mind. Whatever, you know. Whatever that inundation tells you, other people are thinking about you. It really is something to notice and not to go along with. Not at all. Because that vomit of bile, of rage or self-hate, which is really what it is, and self-judgment, because that is what it is. It's called projection for a reason, you know. So that temporary, well, it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. It's, you know, it was a really good lesson. I'm really glad I went through it. I mean, I was aware of it already, but you're aware of something on one level, and then you have another experience, and you're aware of it on a whole new level, and it's good. It's educational, and it helps you to, you know, to work through your shit. But yeah, we're all played off against each other all the fucking time. And we're all being baited all the fucking time. This is this Russell Brand thing, and I honest to God don't give a shit. I could not honestly care less. Not my fucking circus and not my fucking monkey. But you can bet your fucking ass that the majority of these people, it's like, oh, they're doing this, oh, they're doing that. Yeah, there's always a fucking same. There's always some drama going on, and then it's there, and then it's gone, and then there's another drama, and it's gone, and there's another drama, and it's gone, and there's another drama, and it's gone. And I find that when I'm going through my inner work, deep, visceral, horrifying fucking shit is really hard going. Any of you really doing the work, you'll know exactly what I'm on about. You'll find that all your old behaviours want to reassert themselves, and all of a sudden you want to watch, I don't know, fucking old conspiracy videos or these types of garbagey conspiracy videos where they say, oh, you mustn't go to your dentist because when he puts the Novocaine in, he's putting graphene oxide in your mouth, you know, and it's all this really heavy, really dark, really negative, predictive programming, because consciousness creates reality. Yeah. See, by keeping the black hands, the matrix, by keeping us perpetually going around in ever diminishing circles, hating ourselves but disassociating from that, and instead projecting it onto the world around us. This is what you are, that's what you are, toxic fucking sludge on a perpetual 24/7 basis. It has us by the fucking throat 24/7. This is what it is. This is what it does. And it's all done because it wants to use our power and our magic of creation against us to create hell. Television, watching TV, movies, reading books, everything is prescribed. Proscribed culture is a prescription. That's what it is. Because, and that's why everybody's on the phone now, and all these nice vaccinated people are on their phone. Elderly people now are on their phone because Elvis has left the fucking building, right? They're gone. They're fucking gone. They might have been sold, or they were just always ease. But they're gone, they're finished, they're done. And there's a lot of them that are changed. Personality changes. They're mean, they're vicious, they're sadistic, you know, like my friend's mother. So there's all kinds of shit going on with that. There are people who've had it, that I know, that are still good as gold and lovely. And I always say a little prayer of thanks when I encounter them, because it's like, thank fuck for that. It's... you know, it will end where it began. It will end where it began. Because if consciousness creates reality, then that is what it will be. Omega. Omega point. You see, inspiration, imagination, creation, that is really what it's all about. How do you get inspired? What inspires you? Is it the black hand? You know, the mind flayer. Blindly going along with it, that's how it is, that's how it is. And it's, I know it's not that simple. I know that. They muddy the water to make it deep. Very deep, 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 deep fucking abyss of darkness, of black oil that you cannot see through. That you do not know what you do not know until another layer is being ripped out of you like fucking paint stripper, and then wow, yeah, get it, I see. How did I not see that I was doing that? That was, but you know, that's how it works, that's how it works. That part of our consciousness that is responsible for creating the dark side of duality, evil, IA, the disease, the parasite, the disease demon, that skews everything. And then there's the other side of your consciousness. I call it the sentinel because it's all powerful, omnipotent, eternal. It is, it knows, it doesn't need to do anything or say anything. It doesn't need to go to war, it doesn't need to fight back, it doesn't need to resist, it doesn't need to agonize, it doesn't need to worry. It doesn't need to expect the worst, and it doesn't need to think all these people are thinking all this about me because I'm a worthless piece of shit, so that's what I'm going to do and that's what I'm going to say and blah 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 blah. It doesn't take anything personal because it knows that a small part of it became separation consciousness, to have a certain type of experience for deep and profound meaningful purposes, undisclosed at present, and it's been creating evil. Yeah. And as that comes back into alignment very slowly, that is what awakening is, right? Things are released, things are oozing. Pus is coming out, it's black, it's evil, and it's like, oh, you know, and it's like a fan, you know, we're not all on the same level. We're going to have this experience on all these different types of levels, for all these different reasons. We're not all like the same, doing the same thing for the same reason, going to the same place. There's no need for that. What the fuck? Infinite creativity, you know? But it's a massive conundrum. Oh God. Not taking it personal, stepping out of it, becoming more and more and more objective, but also wading through the high strangeness, the feeling that you know, sometimes you can't trust yourself anymore, your intuition is off, everything is off, time is not what it used to be, you know, when you're going through another layer of deep, intense inner work, and you feel like But I thought I could see and I understood, and now it's like, whoa, I feel all fogged up and I don't get it and I don't remember, and where's my inspiration? Because how do we claim back our heritage, which is our true, that which is ours by right, our magic, our miraculous magical ability, right? Inspiration, imagination, creation. Because the hard drive has been taken over by the Black Hand. That is why it wants you watching television, and it wants you to not do any fucking inner work, or not do any great, effects, because it wants to keep you trapped on a very lower, denser levels, because that is where it has all the power, right? So judge and project and hate and rage and oh, they're doing it all to me, I'm a powerless victim. And yet it's part of the course that you have to work, you have to face all of that, feel all of that, work through all of that, and you're going to be in it and you're going to believe it's true. So you can tell something infinitely creative and loving is guiding you. Because otherwise you'd get lost in it, because you get lost in it all the time, yet you emerge with newfound insight and abilities. Yes? More love for yourself, because ultimately it's not about fear and love. No, it's about self-hate and self-love. And you you keep going into the hell realm, hinterland, to retrieve yourself bit by bit, soul retrieval. That's why that terminology kind of, and that sort of narrative really does resonate with me, because it's very much like that. And every time you do, you feel like absolute shit, and you think you're not going to make it out, but you do. You keep making it out. And shit will happen that will trigger these journeys into the hinterland to retrieve yourself, Wow. Bit of a rambly video, guys. I did feel like doing a video, and then I felt like, no, you're not supposed to, no, you shouldn't. And just this really, like, somebody's just chucked a really dirty, smelly, wet towel onto me, and it's I thought, fuck it, I'm just gonna persist, I'm gonna see where it goes, see how I feel, so many fucking people everywhere, it's like, oh, the world's population, but it's like, yeah, but they're not, you're just fucking churning out these NPCs everywhere, and there's more of them every day. That's really what it is. You get your they kind of look a bit like Mormons. You get them around here. They always have a kid in a buggy and a fucking Labrador or a golden retriever, right? And they look a bit like I don't know, Mr. and Mrs. Mormon, all nice Ken and Barbie cookie cutter evil dad. That's what you look like. It's a series where you get this sort of late 50s to late 60s type of, the NPC series 3, I called them. They're so typical, they're so stereotypical, it's unbelievable. They don't like colour, they don't like nature, they have no empathy. They want your magic, they want your life force, they want it. Don't give it to them. But don't hate them anymore. Recognise them for what they are and keep letting it go, people. Keep letting it go. Because feeding the Matrix is what it wants. This hate, this projection, this they think this about me, and look what they're doing over there, and fucking Russell Brand, and whatever it is that it wants to bait you with, or whatever it is that it wants you to get that little dopamine click. I feel a bit better now, I'll go and do it again. the rage that you feel at having to run the demonic evil motherfucking gauntlet the minute you get out of bed, and then you have to, even despite feeling absolutely shitty, you have to go to work, where you have to put up with a shitload of total fucking bollocks, assholes, NPCs, abuse, whatnot, manipulation, gaslighting, right? Or you wake up and you just feel like shit. You can barely get out of bed. It's just like getting dressed. It's like you take your trousers out, you put them on the bed, you know full well that you've put them on the bed a certain way with the pockets up, so that, yeah? You go back to the bed, they're upside down. This is weird shit, right? There's a lot of really weird shit going on that just proves to us beyond any doubt that this is not a fucking mundane experience, and it never fucking was. The magic is every fucking where, but it's our fucking magic that has been usurped by this cunt. Excuse my French, right? And it's just like, oh, life's a series of problems that you have to solve, and you have to run the gauntlet of all the contrivances, yeah. I mean, it's very hard, it's hard. You get these people that claim to be awake, but they're stubbornly clinging to their born-again Christian bullshit, and it's like, how stupid you are. But you don't realise the sheer number of layers of trauma-based mind control that operates within people. It's really difficult. Always take yourself back to where were you 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago, and you'll realise, oh yeah, I was doing that too, mostly, or you were doing similarly, and you know, it wants us to hate and judge and project, because that is hell contagion, reinfection agenting. That is what that is. They do it to you, you do it to them, and all the whilst we're all doing that with our nose to that toxic grindstone, the ones that are actually keeping us in this fucking evil prison, we don't know who they are, what they are, where they are, why they're doing this, or when they're doing it. But when you go to Mr. MBB333, the number of aerial high strangeness is ramping up massively, and these fast walkers, these little tic-tac craft that used to move so quickly, so fast that the naked eye couldn't see them, are now moving slowly because they want to be seen. The truth slowly but surely is being revealed. There's absolutely no doubt whatsoever about it. Now, I don't, strictly speaking, believe this, the external, is what it appears to be. It's not linear. And it's not one reality for everybody either, because that is not the case. It is a very strange setup, and that's going to become more and more obvious to those of us who have done the work and continue to do the work. But to take personal responsibility and ownership of your state of consciousness is of the ultimate importance. And it's perfectly alright to feel like shit, and to scream, and to will, and to feel lost, and to get lost, and to temporarily be a total fucking blubbering mess, thinking, what the fuck, here I am doing this again, thinking that again, whoa, because you will come back from the hinterlands again and again with more of yourself back. And yeah, I know it feels like it's never going to end, but something tells me beyond doubt that it's near the end for some of us. It really is. For others still have a ways to go. You're not that far in. But one way or another, all souled beings of light make it home. That I feel very strongly, you know. So try not to take it personally. Try to be aware of how you've punished yourself and beat yourself up on behalf of the Black Hand. Oh, I better expect the worst, because, you know. The ultimate mechanism was always been, well, at least it is for me, the don't bother stepping in the light, because it's only going to let you down, or it's powerless, it can't help you, or, oh, the light's just evil pretending to be the light. And the fear of that ultimate disappointment or ultimate betrayal is so strong that you're kind of like a tennis ball. You think, oh, I better go back into the dark room and live in fear and hate myself, and yeah, everything's shit and I hate myself. Because that is really what it is. The whole thing is predicated on that self-hate. I know. That is how they've got us, you see. That's what it's all about. It's the name of the game, self-hate. From conception all the way up to this point, you've been told how worthless you are, and guilty. There's a lot of guilt and a lot of shame coming up, guys, and it feels really dirty bad. It's like you're covered in tar, you know what I mean? It's really bad, but it's good. It needs to be released, and you'll be in it, and you'll feel like shit, and you'll fly off the rails, you'll fly off the handle, but you'll come out of the hinterland. You will. That is power. It has not destroyed us, and every time it attacks us, it destroys itself. You know, if you look at, I look at this road very symbolically, you know, and the fact that this whole depop thing, depopulation, well, I don't really believe it is about that at all. I think that's a very naive way of looking at it, actually. But the fact that it is basically murdering so many fucking people means that it's destroying its own fucking loosh supply. You know what I mean? So, and yet at the same time, the rage and the rabid hatred that I can feel tells me it's definitely losing. It's not gloaty. It's not happy. No. But I never underestimate the enemy, man. We should not. And we've got to face that fear within us. We've got to face a shitload of fears of so many different things, and so many different programs, and so many different demonic attachments and astral incursions and fuck knows what else. In fact, I had a bit of an experience, and it was a past life memory. I don't necessarily believe that we have lived these lives. There was a really good episode in Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, where Chief O'Brien has committed this crime on another plane, which he hasn't committed, by the way, so he's completely innocent of said crime. And what they do is they place him in this device, and they place this device on his head, and he lives out an entire life in this horrible prison dungeon. And then he comes out of it, and he's Chief O'Brien, and only like, I don't know, an hour has actually gone by. But he's lived like 60 years in a dreadful, horrifying, dark, dank, dirty cell. You know, with fucking rats gnawing at his fucking toenails and shit like that. And he's, needless to say, completely fucking traumatized. I think it might be a bit like that. Well, I had something like that. And I'm not going to go into details because something tells me not to. But it was horrifying. And it made me realise that I understand now. Because the amount of trauma that has been generating, and the amount of soul that it's kept trapped in this belief that you cannot trust the light, even though I am the light. The light is not something outside of us. It's not about dependency and, oh, please God, I'll do anything you say, please come and get me out of here now. It's not that. The light is here. We are powerful, but it has made us, usurped our consciousness to such an extent that it's like, oh, I'm powerless, there's nothing I can do. That even if I do tap into what I feel within me, it's not going to deliver. Nothing is, you know, a lot of people call it the divine feminine, this kind of like alignment with what it is you want to bring into being, which is a state of self-love. That is how we create. That's it. Inspiration, imagination, creation. But when you're in a state of self-hate and fear, you want to watch fucking Netflix, right? You want to put your consciousness, your hard drive, chock-a-block with all this shit, because you're busy disassociating from all the fucking trauma. It's like, can't cope. It's like, give up smoking. No, I can't, because I'm going to start to feel all that fucking trauma. So I can't get off antidepressants, and I'm not going to stop smoking. It's like this guy goes to the doctor, this good doctor that I watched an interview on Rumble, and he was a really good doctor, a really decent doctor, a proper doctor, you know, not a fucking disease manager, but a proper doctor. And he says, well, how about you change your lifestyle? How about you address this? How about you stop smoking that? How about you stop drinking? And the guy goes, oh, no, it was somebody with diabetes. And he didn't want to know. Because people subconsciously know. I mean, it's a mechanism. Something goes, click, no, we're not doing that. Because they know when they do that, a shitload of fucking insanity and trauma will come up for them to have to plow through. Because, as you guys, some of you know, I've been detoxing now for nearly 8 months. And you could say, well, that's a bit long, isn't it? And this and that. But it's like, no, this is not something I'm going to go back to eating and doing what I was doing before. No, I'm not going to. This is a complete change, and it's going to stay that way. And the amount of drugs that I've taken in my life, and the amount of antidepressants, and the amount of cigarettes and ganj and this and that, wow, it's just exponential. You know, a bit like a fucking walking chemistry set. So it was never going to be easy. And it's actually been really, really tough. But what happens is when you detox your body, you will detox your consciousness, because they're one and the same thing. You may not get that, but you will at some point. You will understand that everything is electromagnetic. Everything is. People make a distinction between the physical and the spiritual. You're a spiritual being, have a physical experience. This is New Age bliss junkies. It's all bullshit. There's no such thing as the physical at all. It doesn't exist. It's all a projection of consciousness. We are the creator of worlds, people. We truly fucking are the creators of fucking worlds. But we have been temporarily and create fucking shit, but it's okay. But yeah, that mechanism, though, don't go into the light. And when you really pay attention, you will see it really doesn't want us to do that. So it's put all these things in place to stop us from doing that. That's really what it's all about. Anyway, I think I've been rambling on enough, and I'm going to call it a day, I think. You know, just keep doing your fucking work, people, and don't worry about, oh, I'm not going to make it, or, oh, I'm getting it all wrong. You're not getting it wrong. If you're a total fucking mess, it's likely you're getting it right. But it is about, because I do feel that some people are very, what's the word, indulgent, self-indulgent, because that's another thing the Matrix likes. It likes you to be self-indulgent. So all this negativity and all this passive-aggressive, perverse crap, oh, it loves all that, you know. I know, because it really, I'm quite like that, actually. People with Love Scorpio in their chart can be very wired that way. They're self-indulgent, they're a little bit perverse, they're passive-aggressive and self-attacky, and kind of like stubbornly cling to very toxic ways of thinking, feeling and doing, even though they know better. And we have the strength and the stamina to see through that bullshit and to not let ourselves get away with it. And to keep saying, no, I choose love. And sometimes you have to do that every 5 minutes. I choose love. And you still feel like absolute shit. And you still feel terrified. Because bad shit's happening. And you feel you can't trust yourself. And you feel you can't trust your intuition. And you feel evil's won. And it's all that Neptunian mind control, nasty, gaslighty bullshit. And you think, oh, fuck it. And you want to fucking go out there and do some damage, right? And all of that. And it's all par for the course, right? It's not at all what they tell you it is. It's not at all. You're not going to find ad hoc whole truths on the external plane. It's a hall of mirrors. truth comes from within you. It doesn't come from me. I'm not saying you should believe everything I'm saying, not at all. You gotta just take my videos in whichever way you choose to take them. But know that everything that you want, everything that you are, is from within you. That's for your journey. That's your journey, which won't be the same as mine. Alright? It just people that I do come across people like this a lot that do not seem to have an inner sense, whereas me, I've always been like, I'm not going to follow anything or anyone, and I'm just going to work out for myself what's what, because it's the only way to go. There is no other way. You can, Eckhart Tolle tells me this is what's going on, it's the power of now, so I'm going to go with that because that must be the truth. Yeah, no, it's not. That might be Eckhart Tolle's truth, but I rather think it's fucking some manipulation of some profundity somewhere that the Matrix wants you to follow blindly. And there are people that do. They're rudderless, and a soul traveler isn't rudderless. A soul traveler has self-power. A soul traveler will say, well, you know what? I'm not going to believe anything. I'm going to work it out for myself, and what I need to know and understand and see and what I need to apply and do will come from within me, because I'm a powerful being. I'm a being of light, and I'm going to choose love, and that is what self-love is. It will lead to sovereignty, greater levels of sovereignty all the way through this journey, right? If it leads you back to yourself, to your sovereignty, to your self-awareness of your your foibles that you then can slowly but surely correct, all the inner work that you can do, it's all fucking difficult and insane and hard, but you're doing it, and you know you're doing it because you elevate yourself. You emerge with more gold every fucking time. You're spinning gold from straw. So that's how you know. And I know some of you are there, and I'm too. So all this work, and where are the concrete fruit of my labors? And so with that thought, you can choose to either give up and go back into the darkness and gnaw at your own bones and hate yourself, and because it's all a lie, and I'm just going to give up now and fuck you all and give in to that. You might do that for a bit, perverse. That's what I call perversity, like that Scorpio thing. And you do that for a bit, and take it out on your loved ones, and that, and it's all shit, and fucking NPCs and whatnot. And like cyclists having nasty thoughts about your blackberry picking, because really you're just such a worthless piece of shit, and why the fuck, and this and that, and right? And then you, fuck, what am I doing? And if you have integrity and honour to yourself and love yourself, then you'll step out of it and you'll realise, and you'll have learned a valuable lesson, you see, because that's it. Anyway, I'm going to go now. I hope I've made sense, maybe a little bit. For those of you who are struggling with giving up smoking, I left a comment in the community section. It's a book by a guy called Alan Carr with 2 R's. You can get it on Amazon, or I dare say anywhere else. If you're in another country, like in Germany or in wherever it is you are, I dare say you can get it as well, because it's a really good book. I used that book for me stopping smoking, and it really fucking worked, because what you've got to remember here is that you want to get your addictions out of the way. They are trauma suppressants, and they're going to keep their anchors to lower vibrational states of being. It's very bad news, alright? The only reason you enjoy smoking is because you're addicted. Remember that. The minute your body no longer craves the nicotine, like say you stop smoking successfully, give it 6 months, have a cigarette, it's going to be like, this is disgusting and vile. You won't enjoy it at all. You enjoy it, you think you do, because you haven't had a cigarette for a while, and your body's alarm system is going off saying, I need nicotine, I need nicotine, I need nicotine, I feel like shit, I'm nervous, I'm a nervous wreck, and all this trauma is coming up, and I don't want to have to deal with that. I want to keep disassociating from all that trauma. Oh God, I love having a cigarette. Makes me feel so good. It's gaslighting. All addictions are. It's all about trauma suppression. That's what it is, and it's a gaslighting operation, right? So, The Easy Way to Stop Smoking by Ellen Carr. Okay, 2 hours. See if you can get hold of it. Read the whole book. Don't stop smoking. Read the whole book and then give up smoking, and it will help you. It really will, I bet you. And to anyone else struggling with giving up, I don't know, whatever it is you're giving up, ganj or alcohol or, I don't know, murdering people in the desert, whatever. Hey, you know, I fucking admire you for what you're doing, because I know from personal experience how fucking difficult it is. Right? Because there's a system in place within you that says, oh no, keep disassociating. You don't want to go there, you don't want to go there. It's inner work. That trauma is going to come up, and you're going to work through it, and you're going to go into the hinterland, and you're going to begin to really set yourself free, because you deserve to be fucking free, because it's your fucking magic, not the Black Hands. Right? So all my love to all of you. Mwah.